Hey everybody, this is Doomhammer with another update here, but this last video was the passing leaders for 2014-2015. Now we're going to get to the receiving leaders, the top 40 receiving leaders in the league. First up at number 40 is Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall came over to the Ravens this season and received for 858 receiving yards, 34 receptions, and 6 receiving touchdowns. Great opportunity for the veteran to go to a team that could have really used the number one receiver. He tried to be that for them despite a very mediocre season. Number 39 comes in at Brent Selleck. Selleck has been a veteran tight end with the San Francisco 49ers for quite some time. That veteran presence has been felt and appreciated. He has received for 860 yards, 51 receptions, and 4 receiving touchdowns this year in what was the worst season for the San Francisco 49ers since 1979, a 2-15 record. Then we've got number 38, the New England Patriots second-round choice, Jarvis Landry. He caught for a whopping 60 receptions, 14 receiving touchdowns, and 874 receiving yards. If you saw in the Super Bowl video, he is the Rookie of the Year for this 2014-2015 season. Despite the Pats missing the playoffs, Tom Brady has a nice weapon, a young, fresh set of legs to help the Patriots maybe get in the playoffs next year. Then we have a former Rookie of the Year, Josh Gordon, coming in at number 37 with 887 receiving yards, 47 receiving touchdowns, and 13 receiving touchdowns. All of that, and also knowing that he was injured for several games this season, missing a couple games here and there. Now we will be honoring the suspensions that happened in the league, and he's headed for that year-long suspension. So that's going to be really rough for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, losing their superstar wide receiver of 86 overall for an entire season. But Josh Gordon is just as dynamic as he was in real life, maybe even better in my franchise. However, the marijuana stuff got him before, and it will result in the same thing in this league. Speaking of Buccaneer wide receivers, Jerome Simpson. Simpson gets the 36th spot with 889 receiving yards and 11 receiving touchdowns. This is his 7th year in the league, and again, because of Josh Gordon's injuries and likely a suspension upcoming, we will see Jerome Simpson a lot more, just like we did this season. Number 35 is Robert Meacham, the veteran. He was on the Atlanta Falcons, receiving passes from Peyton Manning. Meacham was the second receiver behind Emmanuel Sanders and Braylon Edwards on this Atlanta Falcons team. This is the 8th year for Robert Meacham. He turns 30 this offseason. As you can see, 890 receiving yards, 57 recs, and 8 receiving touchdowns. Then we got Vincent Jackson, the veteran receiver, 31 years old. 10 years in the league, catching for 928 receiving yards, 49 receptions, and 5 receiving touchdowns. Then we've got the slot receiver for the New York Jets, Jarius Wright, receiving 952 yards, 44 receptions, and 7 receiving touchdowns. He is the third string receiver behind Percy Harvin and then the newly acquired Antonio Brown. That's a 90 overall and an 85 overall, respectively, both 26 years old. Jarius Wright is 24 years old, 76 overall, and was a major contributor catching passes from Alex Smith and Kellen Clemens this season. And then somewhat of a surprise here, but Kevin Ogletree, number 32, he received 957 yards, 39 receptions, and 6 receiving touchdowns for the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers do have a pretty solid team with T.Y. Hilton, Torrey Smith, but T.Y. Hilton was 848 yards receiving. Torrey Smith was 583. They had Bear Pasco, their tight end, 588, but Kevin Ogletree was the one that came through with the lead for the team. So Ogletree, leading receiver for the Carolina Panthers. Then we've got Pittsburgh coming in with the number 31. He had 987 receiving yards, 49 recs, and 9 receiving touchdowns for Michael Floyd. Yeah, the Steelers normally go with receivers that are like 5'10", 5'11", the Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders types. But in my franchise, they're going with the big, strong ones. So I end up having Michael Floyd, who's 6'3". They have Keenan Allen, 6'2". They also have Aaron Dobson, a fourth stringer, 6'3". They do have John Brown. I mean, he was a rookie this year, 5'10", so I try to draft someone similar to the Pittsburgh style. They had Emmanuel Sanders before. They had Malcolm Kelly, who was 6'5" or 6'4", I believe. But Michael Floyd, number 31 here on the list for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we got Brian Quick, number 30. He is the second string receiver behind the new rookie Odell Beckham Jr. in New York, catching passes from Matt Barkley. He's got 987 receiving yards, 59 receptions, and 5 receiving touchdowns. Coming in, cracking the top 30 is Earl Bennett, and he is the first receiver on this list to crack over 1,000 yards with 1,002 receiving yards, 50 receptions, and 9 receiving touchdowns. He is joined by a wide receiver room including DeAndre Hopkins, Stephen Hill, Titus Young, Allen Hurns, who is a rookie. But Earl Bennett has been a consistent receiver for the Houston Texans, and he comes in at number 29. Then we've got number 28, Golden Tate III. Golden Tate came over to the Bengals as a free agent last season and didn't know how he would turn out because it wasn't really a likely landing spot for him. I mean, they had money, but they did not have talent. But because he was there, he gave rookie Derek Carr a great receiving option. Him and James Hardy, which you'll hear about in a little bit. Both over 1,000 yards receiving, as you can see, 1,003, 54 receptions, and 6 receiving touchdowns for the Bengal receiver. And now an unlikely superstar in this franchise, but has been pretty consistently a superstar, is Jordan Cameron. Cameron has 1,018 yards receiving, 46 recs, and 7 receiving touchdowns for the Green Bay Packers. He has done very well in his career. He's basically a Pro Bowl caliber tight end. So this is absolutely insane for him because he has really taken off. And as you can see, top 27 in the league. And he's like a 77 overall. He was a lot worse than that earlier in his career. And he still just outperformed everybody. He does have superstar development based on his Madden dev trait. Number 26 is also an NFC North receiver. And this is Darius Hayward-Bay. He is the highest overall rated receiver on Detroit, ahead of Kenny Britt, Jason Hill, Mario Manningham. But here he is with 1,020 yards, 43 recs, and 7 receiving touchdowns. They also made the playoffs, and because they won their Week 18 game, they were able to fend off the Packers and keep them out of the playoffs while preserving their division title. Going back to the Bay, at number 25 is Randall Cobb with 1,035 receiving yards, 48 receptions, and 14 receiving touchdowns. Green Bay really picked up with Brock Osweiler this year after basically selling out their entire team. I mean, they have all these draft picks now, and they nearly made the playoffs. So 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, even some more in the later rounds. Randall Cobb is likely to leave them in free agency, but the Packers still developed quite a solid year. As you can see, Jordan Cameron and Randall Cobb rounding up the top 27 in receiving leaders. Then at number 24 is Jacksonville's Chris Owusu. He was like a 6th round pick or something like that 3 years ago. He's only a 68 overall, but the dude is just so freaking reliable. It's crazy. He has been basically leading the Jacksonville Jaguars for multiple seasons. He has 1,042 yards, 54 receiving receptions, and 7 receiving touchdowns. This man is crazy because he had more receiving yards than Tavon Austin, their first-round pick last year. They brought in Anthony Gonzalez from Cleveland, which that's not a big surprise, but he's a 75 overall. Steve Smith, not the good one, the other Steve Smith. Allen Robinson is a rookie this year. But Chris Owusu just making it happen for Jacksonville. And this is what I love about this 32-team franchise is that there are some players who are supposed to be great and they just struggle. And then there are some players that you've never heard of that shoot out to be either superstars or they come out every now and then to be that one-hit wonder that we all see every now and then. And so that's just very exciting because I have never heard of Chris Owusu in my life. And probably you haven't either. But here we are knowing about Chris Owusu in this fake reality, being number 24 in the league leaders in receiving yards for Jacksonville. Then we've got the slot receiver for the Miami Dolphins and Super Bowl champions, A.J. Jenkins. Yeah, not Leroy Jenkins, but A.J. Jenkins, catching for 1,061 receiving yards, 41 recs, and 12 receiving touchdowns. He's got normal dev, but he's a 77 overall in his third season out of Illinois. He is behind Jordy Nelson and Calvin Johnson Jr. on the depth chart, so getting 1,000 yards with those two players ahead of you, plus Tyler Eifert, Super Bowl MVP, that's pretty impressive. So there we got number 23, A.J. Jenkins. Then we've got the Buffalo Bills leading receiver for multiple years, Jacoby Jones. He's got 1,056 yards receiving, 51 recs, and 11 receiving touchdowns. He's been as reliable as they come, and he is 30 this year, so he'll be 31 next offseason. He's an 80 overall. I expect him to test free agency after the 5-12 expedition they went on this season, but he's been pretty solid as a receiver, kind of their star receiver for many years, and we'll see if he ends up being more like a role player on another team, pending where he goes in free agency. Another loaded wide receiver room is the Seattle Seahawks with Demaryius Thomas, Devontae Adams, Mike Evans. Two of them are rookies, of course. Demaryius Thomas is in his fifth year out of Georgia Tech. So he's an 83 overall. He caught for 1,083 yards, 56 receptions, and 15 receiving touchdowns. When Matthew Stafford went to the Seattle Seahawks, he really ignited this team, and he had a lot of great pass catchers like Demaryius Thomas coming in here at number 21. At number 20, we've got Matthew Slater. He had 1,094 receiving yards, 57 receptions, and 9 receiving touchdowns. For a while, early in his career, he's in year 7? Yeah, he's in year 7 of his career. It was Greg Jennings, Anquan Bolden, and Matt Slater. Then Anquan Bolden was traded away, and he kind of has disappeared from relevance. And it's been Greg Jennings and Matthew Slater here in Tennessee. And as you can see, Matt Slater ranking number 20th in these rankings. Then at number 19, getting under the 20s, is Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, as mentioned earlier, he went from Green Bay to the Jets. He wanted a chance to win, and he got to the AFC Championship game, falling short to the Dolphins. He received for 1,100 yards, 49 receptions, and 12 receiving touchdowns in the green and white. A bit of a surprise here, but a normal dev 71 overall Charles Clay comes in at number 18 as a tight end, catching for 1,119 receiving yards, 62 receptions, 13 receiving touchdowns. The man was pretty much unstoppable and really helped the Bengals get into the postseason. Then coming at number 17 is the rookie Brandon Cooks, who was cooking it all year, and bad pun, whatever. 1,133 receiving yards, 54 receptions, and 8 receiving touchdowns for the rookie. He had a great year with the former MVP RG3. Unfortunately, the Vikings went 7-10, so they weren't able to have a postseason run. But they have had Doug Baldwin, who's a Pro Bowl receiver, Brandon Cooks, Adam Thielen, Harry Douglas, a pretty good receiving room, and Brandon Cooks just elevated it to that next level. So number 17, Brandon Cooks. At number 16, we have Brandon Tate. Tate was a receiver for the Patriots and basically earned himself to being their primary receiver in 6 seasons in the league. He is paired now with Jarvis Landry. He's had help like Devon Wiley, Chris Hogan, Justin Brown, Patrick Turner. Not really great options. But he was with Andre Johnson before. He was with I don't think I ever gave them Randy Moss, but they had some. Oh no, I did give him Randy Moss. I think it was Randy Moss and Andre Johnson at some point. But Brandon Tate was just phenomenal, and so he's been a reliable starter for the Patriots, and he continues to do so with 1,100 yards, 52 receptions, and 6 receiving touchdowns. Speaking of Andre Johnson, he comes in at number 15. The Cleveland Browns traded a third-round pick for Andre Johnson, the 33-year-old. And at first I thought it was like, it's a very Browns thing to do, to give up a third-round pick for an aging receiver. but they made the playoffs and got to the second round before getting knocked out by the Super Bowl champion Dolphins. So he really did elevate their team with 1,156 receiving yards, 51 receptions, 8 receiving touchdowns, and he was injured for several weeks. So he gave Terrell Pryor a veteran receiving option. He was only a 77 overall, but he played a lot higher than that. He did choose to retire, so Cleveland gave up a third-round pick for a one-year rental with Andre Johnson. But after a long career in this franchise, in this league, I think he's been 12 years in the league, he ends up calling it quits. And it's kind of a habit. I think some good players go to Cleveland and then they retire immediately after. Gee, I wonder why that might be. Then we have our second Cincinnati Bengal on this top 40 list with James Hardy. Now, James Hardy, I went to Buffalo in real life and never really amounted to much. But in this franchise, James Hardy was drafted to the Raiders and went and played with Matt Ryan and was Ryan's top target until they brought Julio Jones in. Then it was Julio Jones and James Hardy. Hardy left for a bigger contract, which happened to be with the Bengals. And despite the Bengals being awful the past few seasons, he has been a number one target for the Bengals team. And this year, he helped them advance to the playoffs. Him and Golden Tate. They did draft Justin Blackmon, but we know, Justin Blackmon. So 1,156 receiving yards, 57 receptions, and 10 receiving touchdowns for the veteran receiver who is in his 7th season as a wide receiver. And it's not too long ago since we've talked about the Vikings. So Brandon Cooks came in at 17 and Doug Baldwin at 13. Baldwin has been quite the star receiver. He's got an 85 overall. 1,157 receiving yards, 54 receptions, and 15 receiving touchdowns. So Baldwin, to me, even in real life, was always just a reliable, consistent receiver. I never saw him really as a superstar receiver, but he's just consistently good. He's not like Calvin Johnson. He's not Odell Beckham, but he's going to catch the ball when you throw it to him, and he's going to make plays. And that's what he's done for the for the Minnesota Vikings. Then at number 12 is Emmanuel Sanders with the Atlanta Falcons, receiving for 1,197 receiving yards, 56 receptions, and 15 receiving touchdowns. Sanders took the place of Larry Fitzgerald, who was a major loss for the Falcons, to receive passes from Peyton Manning, the elder quarterback. But Sanders came in, and he is number 12 because he was the reliable target for this team. So it was him and Robert Meacham, along with Braylon Edwards, Joseph Morgan, Bryce Butler, and Jordan Shipley, rounding out this receiving core for the Falcons, who did make the playoffs, but unfortunately had that quick out by Dallas in the wild card round. And back to Pittsburgh with the number 11th ranked wide receiver, Keenan Allen. He's only 22 years old. He's in his second season, 6'3". He caught for 1,212 receiving yards, 53 receptions, and 11 receiving touchdowns. Very impressive by the young receiver. He's 82 overall, star dev. I expect to see a lot from him in the future with the Pittsburgh Steelers, catching passes from Big Ben. Then, starting to crack the top 10, we've got Larry Fitzgerald, who left the Falcons for Dallas. He caught for 1,222 yards, 56 recs, and 12 receiving touchdowns. Fitzgerald, again, the fantastic number 1 overall pick to the Atlanta Falcons 11 seasons ago. He helped Dallas ascend a little bit past most of the other teams in the NFC, all the way to the NFC Championship game, even without his main quarterback, Russell Wilson. And unfortunately, they came a 2-point conversion away from defeating the Eagles and going to the Super Bowl. Who knows if they would have had a better fate against the Miami Dolphins? I guess we'll never know. But he's fallen down to like an 86 speed. His overall is a 91, but he's just gotten slower with age. But we'll see if he's able to keep his consistent level of excellence as he gets older, because he'll be 32 next year. Then we've got number 9 is Greg Jennings. He is a 30-year-old, 9 years in the league. He was actually up there with Calvin Johnson Jr. for being one of the best in this league a few seasons ago, even probably as close as last year or 2 years ago. He received for 1,292 yards, 73 receptions, and 18 receiving touchdowns. He has been a dynamic receiver his entire career, probably one of the best in the franchise. And right now he's been catching passes from Tavares Jackson, who is just mid. You'll get reliability, maybe even a playoff appearance out of Tavares Jackson, but that's pretty much it. But Greg Jennings is the superstar on the Tennessee Titans. Number 8 in his second season is Justin Hunter, coming in here with 1,327 receiving yards, 66 receptions, and 13 receiving touchdowns. And he was receiving passes from the first quarterback taken off the board, Blake Bortles. So Hunter, in his second season, really came through for his rookie quarterback and really caught on fire. So looking forward to seeing how this quarterback-wide receiver duo continues to grow in this franchise and see if they are able to make something of this chemistry. Then we've got Michael Crabtree coming in at number 7. He's at 1,391 receiving yards, 75 receptions, and 13 receiving touchdowns. He's an 85 overall in his 6th year. He's from Texas Tech, was his college. So Michael Crabtree was Andrew Luck's primary target this season, and it showed with an impressive almost 1,400-yard performance, as they were the number 1 team in the NFC. Unfortunately, they were not able to beat the Dallas Cowboys at home when they hosted them in the divisional round. But as for Crabtree, one of the best receivers in this league, no doubt. Then at number 6, no surprise here, A.J. Green with 1,512 receiving yards, 63 receptions, and 14 receiving touchdowns. No doubt he is a superstar, 84 overall in his 4th season out of Georgia. He was a top pick in the draft, as you would expect. And quite frankly, I don't think Denver is that good of a team, but they've been coming up first in the AFC West. They've been winning playoff games, getting to the playoffs, having records like 12-5 like they did this season. So they've been, and they were 11-6 last year, but largely due to the fact that Sam Bradford is able to deliver the ball to somebody like A.J. Green, who is able to have so many yards after the catch, keeps drives alive, is a bailout receiver that you chuck it up there and he gets it. So A.J. Green, number 6. Now we're into the top 5 with Deshaun Jackson. Now, the Eagles have Deshaun Jackson, Ted Ginn Jr., Travis Benjamin, all with like 93, 97 agility, 99 acceleration for Jackson. Ginn has like 96 acceleration, Benjamin 97 acceleration, Deshaun Jackson has 96 speed. So the guy is just tearing it up, and Donovan McNabb has had no issues in his entire career getting the ball to these receivers. Unfortunately, they are 1 and 2 in the Super Bowl. Well, I guess Jackson wasn't on the team yet, so I guess he's 1 and 1 in the Super Bowl. Not able to come away with another victory for the Philadelphia fans, but 1,673 receiving yards, 71 recs, and 8 receiving touchdowns is nothing to frown about. Solid receiver and a very solid top 5 league leader in receiving yards. Then we've got the game changer, Mike Wallace, coming at number 4. Wallace was with the Minnesota Vikings early in his career. Last season, jumped ship to the Arizona Cardinals, and I do believe he single-handedly brought the Arizona Cardinals to the Super Bowl for that Super Bowl victory. 1,746 receiving yards this year, 70 receptions, 19 receiving yards. He had almost a 2,000-yard receiving season last year, like 1,900 receiving yards in 2013-2014. And he basically does it again. This time he had Derek Anderson throwing the ball when Andy Dalton was hurt. It didn't matter who was throwing him the ball in Arizona. Mike Wallace delivered and comes in at number 4. Then the man catching passes from Aaron Rodgers for about 10 years is Ohio State wide receiver Santonio Holmes, who's been electrifying with the Chargers, catching for 1,762 receiving yards, 72 receptions, and 18 touchdowns. The man is quite powerful, but he's also aging. The Chargers were able to acquire Jeremy Maclin in a previous year. Previously he's in his sixth season. 26 years old. They traded for Julian Edelman mid-year from the Green Bay Packers, giving up a draft pick. I thought it might have been a 3rd-round pick maybe, or maybe it was a 4th round. But Santonio Holmes still leads the way for the Chargers, as he is that good of a receiver, and he might be testing the free agent market, so we'll see if he stays or if he goes. Number 2 is Julio Jones. I don't think anyone's surprised by this. 1,775 receiving yards, 80 receptions, and 20 receiving touchdowns. He is an X factor, 93 overall. He is in his 4th year out of Alabama. Definitely one of the top receivers in this league. No question about it. When we look at his overall, I mean, he's someone that you definitely have to think, if I just chuck the ball up, he's probably going to go get it. Because he is the 3rd rated overall receiver, because it's Calvin Johnson Jr., Deshaun Jackson, then Julio Fitzgerald, and then Percy Harvin. But Julio Jones is just a freak of nature. He is so fun to play with. When I'm in a bind, chuck the ball up to Julio, and there's a maybe even better than 50-50 chance that he comes down with it and for a touchdown. That's why he's got 20 there. But likely the only player who can out Julio Jones is, of course, Megatron, Calvin Johnson Jr. He comes in with 1,787 receiving yards, 58 recs, and 17 receiving touchdowns. Cam Newton was the number 1 league leader in passing, and Calvin Johnson Jr. is the number 1 league leader in receptions and receiving yards. So, not receptions, there's other people with more than 58, but most receiving yards of all the league leaders. And so, no question about it, Miami was just a super loaded team, and they came away with a Lombardi trophy. Calvin Johnson Jr. used to be with the Arizona Cardinals, and then left them for the Miami Dolphins. And man, I had like 10 teams bidding on him, and he chose Miami after they failed to win the Super Bowl against the 49ers. And then they went on this journey trying to win a Super Bowl together with this super team, and they were successful. So thank you for watching this video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more content, and let me know if you like this type of content too, because there's gameplay and there are I'll be doing some off-season videos, but stuff like this, it takes time to put together, but I have fun with it because it's kind of like a narrative of the league, a story kind of mode. Because again, if you're not in my head, which you're not actually seeing the development of these characters, these players. So thanks for watching. I enjoy sharing this series with other people. So hope to see you in the next video as we give more insights into this alternate reality of the NFL.